Hi, welcome to the second part of the lesson on loan repayment. In the second part, we're going to look at amortization. And an amortization table is a table that shows for every month of the loan what the beginning balance was that month, how much interest was paid, how much got applied against the principal. In other words, how much of the loan did you pay off that month, and then the ending balance, which then becomes the beginning balance of the next month. So let's start with month 1, and we'll use this example that we started with in the first half. So the beginning balance there is $250,000. Each month you're going to pay interest, and the interest amount you're going to pay is the periodic interest rate. So the interest paid is going to be $250,000 times the periodic interest rate, which is 0.0575 over 12. So if we do that on the calculator, 250,000 times 0.0575 over 12, we get 1197.92. So 1197.92. So the first month we're paying 1197.92 in interest. Well, we know that every month we're sending the bank $1458.93. So we're sending them a check or something equivalent for that amount. Well, if $1197.92 of that was interest paid, then the rest of that got applied to principal. So the rest of our $1458.93, subtract out the amount of interest that was paid, that's the amount that's going to get applied to principal. So $1458.93 minus $1197.92 is $261.01. So it's kind of depressing. You send the bank $1458.93, and almost all of it is interest. But that changes over time, and toward the end of the loan, the balance changes to where you have more principal per month than interest paid. So your ending balance that first month is $250,000 minus that $261.01 that you paid off in the first month. So $250,000 minus $261.01 gives us $249,738.99. So $249,738.99. So after the first month, our balance is down down $261. Okay, so when we do month 2, what we would do is we would start with this ending balance that we started with, that we had last time at the end of the month. So $249,738.99, and then we would calculate our interest paid based on that. Now that's a little bit less interest, which means there'll be a little bit more principal. And we'll have one of these rows for each of the 360 months of the loan. Okay, now this is a drag to do by hand, and we won't do that by hand. I'll just have you do maybe two months by hand. So we'll start here. Excel is pretty much built for calculations just like this. So beginning balance is $250,000. The interest paid is going to be equals, we're going to take the beginning balance times 0.0575 divided by 12. And now if we think about how much should be applied to principal, that's going to equal $1,458.93, just like we did before, minus the amount of interest paid. And we probably should round that to the nearest cent, but I'm not going to ask you to do that. And then the ending balance is going to be the beginning balance minus how much was applied to principal. Okay, so that's the first month. Now we can do all 360 months of this. If we scroll down and start with 1 and 2, scroll down until we get to 360 months. Because that was the term of the loan, was 360 months. And now what we're going to do is we're going to say the beginning balance equals the ending balance for last month. And now let's see what happens if we take these three and scroll down, or just copy them down. So let's make sure that it's doing what we want it to do. So our beginning balance is the ending balance for the month before. The interest paid is that beginning balance times 0.0575 over 12. How much gets applied to principal? Well, that $1,458.93 minus C7, which is good, and then the ending balance should be that the beginning balance for that month minus how much got applied to principal. Okay, so that's good. So now all we have to do is highlight this much, not both of the top two rows, but just that one, and copy it all the way down. And we should see that down on the bottom row, the balance goes to 0. And indeed it does. It's $2, which is close enough. We've got potentially some rounding error there, but that's it. This is our amortization schedule. And so what this will tell us is that we can look at this and answer questions like, after 3 years, what is the balance? So you'd look at 36 months, and you'd find that the ending balance is $239,771 and some change. Okay, so it lets you answer a lot of questions about that. In real life, there are things already built for you that'll do this, but I actually think maybe it's just me, but it's a little bit easier, I think, to do this myself than to use some table that somebody else has done and try to figure out how they've done it. Plus, when you do your own, you can do things like, and I've done this, you can figure out if you make an extra payment every so often, what does that do to how long does it take you to then pay off your loan if you add extra payments. All right, so now that you've sat through these 2 lectures that I think are only about 15-20 minutes total, now you should be able to do the homework. Have a great break, and I'll see you next Tuesday.